Welcome to another episode of Jurist Destiny Academy. Well, I may just have to wing it. Welcome to Jurist Destiny Academy, a podcast for those that are attending law school. Oops, here we go. This podcast gives you the flower to nuts approach for the why of entrepreneurship, sprinkled with basic knowledge of the how. So, buckle up your seatbelts and prepare, because court class is in session. Okay. My apologies. Today has been one of those days, exigent circumstances. We are not meeting in the court classroom. We are meeting in the judge's chambers. And I hope that you, from the last podcast I gave you on Tuesday, that you got a copy of my book, The Winning Personality, a values-based approach to entrepreneurship in this economy. Because I really think you have to know the values of entrepreneurship in really to begin to grasp some of the why you want to be in entrepreneurship in law school and straight out of law school. So now we're going to go into the first chapter of my book, and we're going to spend about a week and a half there, a podcast. So I want you to get ready. We're going to be talking about the Ambivert and the winning personality. Now, what is an ambivert? You've probably, in high school and college, heard of the terms introvert and extrovert. Okay? So, pay close attention to me, okay? The ambivert is somewhere in the middle. It's not an introvert. It's not an extrovert. It's somewhere in the middle. It's a combination of both sides of the spectrum of introvert, extrovert. And in our next court class session on Tuesday, I want to go through that with one of the personality tests that I took at least 3 times during my many years of college experience. But the fact of the matter is, I know some of you are still saying, this guy's 50-something, never went to law school, and yet he wants to teach us about entrepreneurship and apply it to law school. But please hear me out. An ambivert in law school is willing to sit there and work on case synthesis. Excuse me, that can be a tongue twister in and of itself. One thing I learned in my political science classes is both speech synthesis and case synthesis. Like, yesterday was the inauguration, as we all well know, and I spent looking at the first 3 paragraphs that define tooth comb and analyzed the new president's inaugural address, the first 2 or 3 paragraphs. And I have to say, there's a lot of figurative language. Now, that all depends on what your perspective is on that, on the political perspective. And for the sake of Jurist Destiny Academy, or any of my motivational podcasts, we're going to leave that alone. The only exception where I might bring it up is my podcast, Leahona Light, which is being discontinued from YouTube. Juris Destiny Academy is going to be on YouTube. The first season of The Orator is going to be on YouTube, and also maybe a special episode or so of The Orator is going to be there as well. But I'm going to be selective about which podcasts I have that go on my original YouTube channel. But I digress. You need to know the principles of what's important for an ambivert. These are the people that have the ambition, but they are in the middle of the spectrum. Because in entrepreneurship, it's not necessarily good to be a full extrovert or a full introvert. I look at the different personality types, okay? John F. Kennedy, when he entered Harvard, he was a very outgoing, gregarious guy, always hanging out with people, probably going to parties and wanting to bet. And then he goes off, in 1943, he goes off to World War II. He goes off to World War II, and he comes back almost a completely different man. Shy. Didn't want to talk about his war experience. Withdrawn. And it really took his father to get him to be in the middle of the perspective, because really, JFK in many ways was an introvert, but he was extroverted enough to go out there and be successful in politics as a statesman and president. Okay? You think about that. Now, I have an example in my own personal life that I want you to think about. When I was going to college and everything, I was very gregarious. I liked going and hanging out with people. If it was the right party, say with my Christian frat buddies, or some of my friends I went to on home group Bible studies and then yes, I wanted to be in the thick of it. I wanted to be having fun. And then, while I was in college, I got married. We moved away to Arlington. And I have to say, the marriage I had for a year and a half turned me into an introvert, because I was all extroverted and all over the place trying to help my ex-wife grow our network marketing business. But she would shut down my presentations because she says, I don't want you giving presentations anymore. I'm like, wow, what's the big deal? She said, because you get too nervous. And before long, it's her behavior. Okay, I was a big-time extrovert, don't get me wrong. But she was a major big-time extrovert with no people skills. You see what I mean? We're talking plain truth here. And so that self-sabotaged our business. And then we moved off to Arlington. We unfortunately caught ourselves hanging out with the vase resort. And as a result, I came back from Arlington almost like a total, complete introvert. For years, I felt like I've had the hardest time relating to some people. But it's only been since I started writing this particular chapter of the book as a blog post in February 2015, when I was just majorly down the dumps and needing inspiration. And I thought, I'm starting to turn back into this ambivert I need to be. So I hope that you take this toward where it needs to be. I want you to look at any of the people, they started out maybe as an introvert or extrovert. But yet there's always been some event or some content that they've read that has been either cataclysmic or catapulting toward their destiny. Okay? I neglect to say, the session in Chambers is adjourned. We hope that you enjoyed listening to Juris Destiny Academy. If you like what you hear, please subscribe so that we can have you more a part of the community. Also, if you are a law school dean or a full professor of a law school or a law student and would like for me to come, either in person or virtually, to speak, please be in touch with me. My email address is all lowercase, empoweryourpattern@gmail.com. Take care.